Welcome to this class on basics of sociology. In the past classes, we were discussing about some basic concepts connected to society. Why you should understand these basic concepts is that when you jump into this sociology UPSC, if you are aware of the concepts before itself, it will be easy for you to pick up the subject. I've told in the earlier classes also, more than 95% of the students who are selecting sociology, they come from non-sociology background. Neither they have studied sociology in their classes, nor they have studied sociology in their colleges. So this is very new for them. But why people are selecting the sociology as their optional is for a simple reason that it is a very scoring subject. Not just that, it is an easy subject to understand. Because this subject is about you, this subject is about me, this subject is about us. Studying society is what is sociology. Since we are living in this society, we will be knowing about this society, and that is what is the reason for I normally telling for the definition of sociology. Sociology is familiarizing what you are already familiar with. You are already familiar with society, and through sociology, we are going to become more familiar about what we are already familiar with. So, familiarizing the familiar is what is sociology. Now, in today's class, we will be discussing some important concepts connected to the types of society and social stratification. Already we have seen what is society. Society is nothing but a web of social relationship. So it is not just the presence of human beings to be called as a society. To be called as a society, it should have social relationship. So there are many types of social relationship. There may be familial relationship, there may be religious relationship, there may be economic relationship, there may be political relationship. So we have so many social relationship which together constitute this society. Now there are many types of societies. Generally speaking, the first type of society can be called as hunting and gathering societies. Types of societies. So the first society, it is believed that we started with hunting and gathering society. Hunting and gathering society. This is the first type of society. So in many places, this society existed as the first society, where generally speaking, men are the hunters. Men are the hunters and women are the gatherers. Men are the hunters and women are the gatherers. Now, this is a very big sociological debate about whether men are hunters because they are very muscular, they are very physically stronger, and women are doing a very dormant work of gathering what men have hunted. So is it that men are superior and women are inferior? So this is a huge debate in sociology which becomes a very core sociological debate. We'll be discussing all these in the subsequent classes. Now, generally speaking, It is not because of the physical superiority or muscularity or the muscular power of men that men are dominant and women are subordinate. It is not like that. Sociologists have by and large concluded that it is because of the social convenience that people do certain types of jobs. Men are doing certain types of jobs because of the convenience, social convenience, and women are doing certain jobs because of the social convenience. You know that there is a biological difference between men and women. So women are biologically endowed to produce baby. She is going to hold the baby within herself. She is having an uterus. Men don't have uterus. Men don't have uterus. Women have uterus. So biologically speaking, women are endowed with the capacity of delivering the baby. So if she is in the process of delivering the baby, if she is in that family way, she will not be able to participate in the economic activities like men. How can she carry the baby which is in her and go for some very tiresome economic activity? So it is not socially possible. Okay, because she has to produce the baby, she has to give birth to the baby. So because of the society's sake only, women are confined within the four walls of the house. Not because that men are physically superior and women are inferior. That is not the case at all. Science will not accept this thing at all. So it is unscientific to tell that men are physically stronger and women are physically weaker. That is not the scientific case. So it is because of the social convenience. Who will produce baby so that society will continue? Who will? Because people who are born, they will die somehow. So the dead people should be replaced by new people. New child should replace the old person who is dead. So who will produce that new baby? Mother can only produce that baby because she is having only the uterus, not the father. And this is the reason for social purpose, for society purpose, to give a baby to the society for the continuous existence of the society, that mothers are confined within the domestic spheres and parents, fathers are confined to the economic activities. So hunting and gathering society was the first society. Okay, some said that it started existing from 35,000 years. So if you trace the year of origin or year of emergence of this hunting and gathering society, some say it is 35,000 years old. Before 35,000 years, this hunting and gathering society started. So years ago, from 35,000 years ago, this hunting and gathering society exists. Even in some places, this is existing. If you go to an African country, Zaire, there is one community called as Mibuti Pygmies. They are still hunting and gatherers only. So it is continuing even today in some places. Mibuti of Zaire, Mibuti Pygmies of Zaire, they are hunting and gatherers even now if you go to the Zaire. So it continues from 35,000 years, it is continuing this society. Then there is a next society which is evolving. After this society came this society called as pastoral society. Pastoral society. Why? Because domestication of animals started. Animals were domesticated. But this society is a nomadic society. They will go from one place to another place with their cattle. They will go from one place to another place with their cattle. And when there are some seasonal changes, they'll go from one place to another place. They'll carry their cattle. Cattle is the wealth for that community. Okay. So if you take, for example, pastoral society, they are rearing cattle. There is one society called Todas. They are rearing cattle even today. Todas are rearing cattle today in India. Okay, Todas are rearing cattle today. And if you go and see, in Africa, there is a community called as New Year tribe. There is a community in Africa called as New Year tribe in Africa. They are also cattle herders. And this tribe was studied by one anthropologist named Evans Pritchard. Evans Pritchard studied this New Years of Africa. They are pastorals, that they have their cattle. In fact, compared to this hunting and gatherers, these pastorals will travel a very long distance. Because they are having cattle, they can sit on the cattle and travel for a long distance. And when they are moving from one place to another place, definitely they will be coming into contact with many cultural groups. When they are moving from one place to another place, they will be able to come into contact with many new groups of people. Okay, so this is the second type of society called as pastoral society. Then thirdly, you have agricultural society. Agrarian society. Every society is an agrarian society. Why? You know, somehow they have to produce food for themselves or not. Without agriculture, how will they eat food? So no society is a non-agrarian society. Every society, even in America, agriculture is taking place. But the difference is that only 2% of the people in America are doing agriculture. But in case of India, even today, 60% of people in India directly or indirectly are dependent on agriculture. That is why Indian society even today is predominantly an agrarian society. Though we have started industries and all, but still predominantly 60% of the population are directly and indirectly dependent on what? Agriculture. So every society is agrarian for that purpose. If you look at some date, they are telling some years from 12,000 years ago, this society started. Same, from 12,000 years ago, this society started. In fact, this is a very disputed number. Some say that 70,000 years back, some say 15,000 years back. Generally, roughly speaking, to have a fair idea only, we are giving the numbers based on a standard book only. So agrarian society from 12,000 years ago, it started, agrarian society. Okay, this is the third type of society. Now go to the fourth type of society. Fourth type of society is industrial society. Industrial society. Right? Fourth type of society is industrial society. You know, industrial society started since the 18th century onwards. Industrial society started in 18th century in Europe. Okay. And the fifth society is called as post-industrial society. Post-industrial. And this is, say, somewhere around mid of 20th century. They say that it is after World War II. Roughly after World War II, this society started. So there are 5 societies based on the chronological sequence. There are 5 human societies based on chronological sequence. The first society is hunting and gathering. The second society is pastoral, third society is agrarian, fourth society is industrial, fifth society is post-industrial. Okay, so now let us see the features of these societies. What are the features of different types of societies? Features of different types of societies. Take the first case called as hunting and gathering. So in this society, there is almost equality is present. So nobody is inferior, nobody is superior, all are equal. I told if men are not contributing for economic activity because she has to give birth to baby. Women are confined within the home activities because she has to produce a new member of the society. So men may go for hunting and women may be homemakers. They may be gatherers. For example, man will hunt an animal. He will take that animal hunted, and what women will do? She will cut the meat, cook it, take the skin out, and make a clothes for the children, for herself, for the man. So like that, women will be doing certain homemaking activities and men will be doing certain economic activities, and there is no sort of inequality. Men are not superior, women are not inferior. You do your job, I will do my job. That's all for the purpose of society, for social convenience. Okay, so there is equality present. Okay, then come to the second society, pastoral society. Here, inequality started. Why? Because the cattle comes to be owned by men. Men became the owners of the cattle. Men became the owners of the cattle. So inequality started in this pastoral society. Now come to the third society, agrarian society. This is a patriarchal society, which means male dominated society. This society operates based on gerontocratic principles. Gerontocratic principles. So gerontocracy means age. Elderly male members, they exercise all powers. The eldest male member of the family will be all powerful. So this society has more gender inequality because it is a male dominated society. There will be heightened gender inequality in this agrarian society. And the land belongs to man. Land will not be in the name of women. Even today, many of women in India are not the owners of the land. They are not the owners of the house. They are not the owners of the property. their husbands are the owners of the property. So it is a male dominated society, agrarian society, and the peak of gender inequality happens in this society. And this society is a self-sufficient society. Self-sufficient means whatever is produced, that is consumed. Whatever is produced, that is consumed. No surplus left. So no export, no import. When there is no export, no import, it is called as closed society. Remember, when there is no export, no import, it is called as closed society. So a society which is called closed society has no interaction with the rest of the world. No interaction with the rest of the world. So this is what is called as closed society. Whatever you are producing, say for example, you are producing 1000 kilogram of rice. When you eat all the 1000 kilograms of rice, when you eat all the 1000 kilogram of rice, your own group is eating all the rice which you have produced. Where is the surplus left? Only when surplus is left, you can trade it. When there is no trade, there is no contact with the rest of the world. When there is no contact with the rest of the world, then there is no export, there is no import, and there is a closed society. So this society has heightened inequality called as gender-based inequality is at the very highest level. Now come to the fourth society called as industrial society. You know that industrial revolution took place in England during the 18th century. Industrial revolution means machines were used for production. So man-made production is replaced by machine-made production. You can't have machines in your house. So factories are created where machines are producing the products. So this is called as factory system of production. And when you have factory, then it is totally separated from family. Family or household is separated from factory. Earlier and all, family is the unit of production, consumption, and distribution. So in the house only you will be involving in economic activities. But with the coming of factories, factories are the production houses. And family is the unit of consumption. And who will do distribution? Market will be the place where distribution of the production happens. Market is the place where distribution of production happens. So economy is not happening in the family. Economic activities are not happening in the family. There is a particular place for economic activity. For example, economic activity consists of three activities. One is production activity, second is distribution activity, and third is consumption activity. So economy is equal to production, distribution, consumption. All the three happened in the family before, but now for production there is a factory. People are not making products with their hand. Factories are there where machines are kept which will produce the products, and there is a marketplace where distribution of the products happens, and family will be only the unit of consumption. So this separation between factory and family takes place. So you have to go to the factory, work there for 8 hours, come back home. For working in the factory, you will be paid a salary, and you have to start living with that salary, run your family, rear the children, so on and so forth. So this society is producing more surplus. Why it is producing surplus? Machines will produce more products in very less time, and it also assures the quality of each product produced. There is no quality difference because machine is producing same quality products. If you are making with hand, sometimes one product you are making, for example, this pen with hand. Sometimes you make very nicely, sometimes you don't make nicely because you are doing with hand, no. But if you are making this pen with machines, machines will do making of the pen. All the pens will be of same quality, same shape, same size. So there will be precise product which will be produced, and the precise product will be produced more in number. So mass production is happening in the factory. What is happening in the factory through machines? Mass production. Mass production means what? Surplus will be produced. After consumption, there will be so much of surplus left. So just the surplus production is what is the motivation of this machine. Machine is not producing to satisfy the needs of the people in that particular locality. Machine's motivation is to produce more, so that what is produced, surplus is produced, and the surplus will be traded, and through trade money will be minted, and capitalism is a money minting economy. So all societies which are industrial societies are capitalist society. Capitalism means what? It is a system where money will be multiplied. So factory system is a capitalist system, and factory produces more products, more surplus, more trade, more money per product, and this is how money is multiplied by this factory system or industrial society or capitalism. And you know something, in this industrial society, gender inequality will reduce. Why, you know? Why? Because women also can go to factory. So women can make money. Therefore, gender inequality will come down, but economic inequality will increase, which means more rich will be, or rich will become richer, poor will become poorer. So the rich poor divide will increase. And this is the main contention of a very legendary thinker who will be studied in the 4th unit of paper 1 sociology. His name is Karl Marx. So in this society, political inequality may not be there, or there will be no big political inequality. In industrial society, democracy will come, and democracy relies on political equality. So it relies on political equality. All can vote in the election. Political equality will be there. Gender inequality will come down, but economic inequality will increase. So this is a very complex society. Why? One form of inequality is increasing, the other form of inequality is reducing. So it is a very complex society. And this society came when? It came from 18th century onwards. Okay. And this society came in India. It came to India because of LPG policy of 1991. So you can say that due to liberalization, privatization, globalization, capitalism came to India. LPG model is Rao Manmohan model, where privatization, liberalization, globalization was massively kick-started, and therefore India 1991 and after that, post 1991, India is becoming industrial society. But it does not mean that we have left agriculture. I've told earlier that even today, 60% of the population directly and indirectly are dependent on agriculture only. Okay. Now come to this 5th society called as post-industrial society. Post-industrial society. Fifth society is called as post-industrial society. This can be traced to, I told, mid of 20th century after World War II. So this society is a society where more and more economy will be dominated by service sector. Service sector economy dominates. Service sector means what? Service sector means IT sector. Right? Example, IT sector, information technology. ICT you can call, internet communication technology. So service sector dominates. Much of the GDP comes from service sector. Much of the GDP comes from service sector. And you know that this service sector economy is definitely knowledge society. So knowledge society it is. Otherwise you can call it as information society. Now in this society, one who holds knowledge, he is powerful. So who is powerful? Technocrats will rule the country. Politicians will be out because politicians do not have technical knowledge. And this is very clearly visible. You know, in 2008, there was a global economic slowdown. Worldwide, there was a recession. When 2008 to 2011, there was worldwide recession. Many countries like France, like Germany, their economy fell totally. Even American economy fell. Relatively, Indian economy was doing well that time. World economy fell, Indian economy was doing fair enough. So during the revival period, as it was economic crisis, in many European countries, economists, they became presidents, they became the prime ministers. Because politicians do not have this economic knowledge. They don't have knowledge, economics knowledge. And this is a very technical problem. You need technicians to solve the problem. So many economists, they started running the government during 2008 to 2011 period in many parts of Europe. Because they had a very thorough understanding of economics, they were able to give some solutions to the problems. And the politicians are not knowing the solution at all because they don't have this knowledge. So the one who holds knowledge, he is powerful. Knowledge is the power. In this society called as post-industrial society. There is one sociologist named Daniel Bell. He is giving a concept. He only uses the concept of post-industrial society. C.W. Mills, he uses the concept post-modern society. Ralph Dahrendorf, there is another sociologist. Ralph Dahrendorf. He uses the concept post-capitalist society. All are same. They speak about the rise of a new society after modern society. Ralph Dahrendorf, Ralph Dahrendorf, C. Wright Mills, Daniel Bell, they use different names to refer to the same society. So when you look at the past, this is agrarian society. And this is industrial society. And this is post-industrial society. In agrarian society, power comes from, what is the source of power? Power comes from the land. If you own more land, you are more powerful. If you own more land, you are more powerful. In this society, power comes from industry. If you own industry, you are powerful. Here, the source of power is knowledge. Knowledge gives you power. So that is why, according to Daniel Bell, university is the power center. Universities are the power centers. Universities are the power centers, according to Daniel Bell. He only wrote a book, The Coming of Post-Industrial Society. The Coming of Post-Industrial Society. This is the book written by Daniel Bell. So if you look at this, types of society and gender inequality. So this is hunting and gathering society. This is pastoral society. This is agricultural society. This is industrial society. This is post-industrial society. And this is gender inequality. So say this is from 0 to 100 scale. I told in agricultural society it will be, here it is less. So it keeps rising, 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 and it attains a peak here. Thereafter, it started declining. So peak will be here. Maximum gender inequality will be in agricultural society because completely land become the private property of male member of the family. Land is the private property of the male member of the family. So this is the nature of gender inequality. Therefore, many societies are moving in the direction of industrial society so that gender inequality can come down. Why it can come down? I told that industrial society gives opportunity for all. For growth. For growth. So in industrial society, you have equality of opportunity. Why? Because in industrial society, you have a political system called democracy. Democracy and industrial society are like two sides of the same coin. If there is an industrial society, it has to become democratic. Otherwise, there will be a problem. Go to China. It has become industrial society. So much of industrial production is happening. It has become a $1 trillion economy, close to $20 trillion economy. It is moving towards $20 trillion economy, which is more 4 times or 5 times bigger than Indian economy. But still there is no democracy. And people are wanting democracy. Why? Because naturally, if new economic order comes, new political order should come. If the economic order is old, new and political order is old, so old versus new always will have some contradictions. Old versus new always will have contradictions. I'll give you an example like this. You are having a car. Okay. For example, the front tire has got very badly damaged. You go to the tire shop. The person there will advise you to change all the 4 tires. Why? Because if one tire is new and the remaining 3 tires are relatively old, so one is new, the remaining 3 are relatively old, it will be difficult for the engine to maintain that smoothness. So better change all the tires. This is a simple example to tell you that if you wanted to go new, then you go new in all possible dimensions. You are new in one dimension, you are old in another dimension, then it produces conflict. I've told in one of the classes a concept called as cultural lag. So when there is a lag, that one thing changing, another thing not changing, it will always produce problems. So going by the simple logic, that if economic system is changing, the political system also should change. If economic system is changing, political system is not changing. For example, in China, today this is the problem. Political system is not changing. It is still under communist rule. But economic system has changed to capitalism. So, politically they are communist. Economically they are capitalist. Now, economic system and political system is having some contradictions. People therefore wanted democracy there. You know something, in China, there was one child policy now for many years. A Chinese person cannot even have a decision to make with respect to his family affairs. How many children a person should have is decided by the government. You can have only one child. You can't have the second child. One child policy. And people, how they will like this? Economically, you can choose any job, but you can't have your own family. You can't decide the number of children born to you. That is producing contradiction. So many people in China today wanted democracy, which will be a new political order, because new economic order has come. That new economic order has come way back in 1970s in China. What we have done in 1991, that they have done in 1970s itself. So they are 20 years ahead of us, and therefore their economy is 5 times bigger than our economy. Okay, so this is the basic understanding you should have with respect to different types of societies. I'll just sum up what I have told. There are 5 types of society based on chronological sequence. Number 1, hunting and gathering. Number 2, pastoral. Number 3, agricultural. Number 4, industrial. Number 5, post-industrial. So it is based on chronological order, time sequence. We have spoken some basic features of these 5 societies. And India has all. There are some tribal people who are still pastoralist. Okay, like Todas, they herd buffaloes. There are some people in Andaman who are still hunting and gatherers. There are some people, or there are many people in India who are agriculturists. There are some people in India who are in industrial economy. They are working in factories. And there are some other people who are working in service sector, like they are software engineers. So India has all the 5 societies at the same time. Why? Because India is territorially a huge country. It is territorially a huge country. And it is the country having the maximum number of people. We have even surpassed China. So India is the most populated country. So such a massive population, 142 crore people living in different parts of India, practicing different cultures, and therefore you have all the 5 types of societies in India today. We will wind up this session today, and in the next session we will be giving some orientation on the basic concepts in other areas of sociology. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.